Business transformation in 3 different stages. There are 3 stages to a successful business transformation, regardless of the type of digital transformation, with the 3rd stage being the most important. If a company does not complete the 3rd stage of transformation, the project is considered a failure. It happens more often than not, but there are specific strategies you can use to ensure that you and your team reach the finish line. When you think about it, digital transformations are akin to rocket launches. A rocket launch has always had 3 stages in the past. If you want to launch the rocket into space, you'll need the first 2 boosters, or stages. The 3rd stage launch from those boosters, on the other hand, provides the rocket with the final push into space, allowing it to reach its maximum speed and fall into orbit. The 3rd stage of a project, similar to a rocket launch, is what allows organizations to realize their ascension into the stratosphere. This analogy applies whether you are implementing a comprehensive ERP system like Microsoft Dynamics 365 or a flexible CRM like HubSpot. Unfortunately, many digital transformations do not progress beyond the 3rd stage. They fail to take off, they fail to fight gravity, and they struggle to overcome the inertia that all digital transformations must overcome. How many steps are there? First stage. About 10% of businesses can't make it past this stage. Partners and software have already been chosen. The plan is being put into action, but it is not yet done. There is a lot of trouble most of the time. The 2nd stage. About 80% of businesses can't make it past this point. Base implementation is done, but there is still work to be done to finish the whole scope of implementation. This is where companies often go over their budgets and schedules. If organizational change is not managed well, it can cause problems with operations. The 3rd stage. Only about 10% of businesses get to this point. The implementation is done as planned. There is self-sufficiency and improvement all the time. The organization has made the technology part of how they do business every day. What do successful companies do differently when they try to change? Alignment of process. When a company is in the 3rd stage of a launch, it is important for them to make sure that everyone on their team is on the same page. They don't just put their trust in technology and think that it will solve all of their problems. Instead, they define how they want to solve the problems and what they want their operations to look like. Once they have a plan and a base to build on, they use technology to make that process happen automatically. To be successful with your digital transformation, you need a clear picture of how you want your business processes to look after the change. This means doing a thorough gap analysis of your current processes and making sure everyone agrees on which ones to keep, which ones to make, and which ones to automate with the new system. There are 2 ways to talk about process alignment. First, it's a decision that needs to be made right away to align business processes and make sure everyone is on the same page. Second, it's making sure that the technology you and your team have agreed on will be built into the processes. Software selection. Be careful about how software companies and system integrators position themselves. They will send a salesperson into the room to talk about how their software will solve all of your company's problems with how it does things. They will talk to you about how your data will fit in perfectly with the new ERP software and how easy it is to use. Now, that might be true if you look at how transactions work in a software system on a very small scale. But it will rarely be true for how you want your business to run as a whole. It's one thing to get technology to do what you want, but it's a whole other thing to figure out how to use those features in your everyday work. Organizational change management. Organizational change management must be at the forefront of the project from the very beginning. Companies usually start to think about OCM practices when they are about to go live. But companies that have thought about their team and culture from the start will be able to get the most out of their digital transformation projects. Companies whose transformation projects are working well define what people's roles and responsibilities will be in the future. They take the time to think about where the organization is going. Most importantly, they take the time to start making changes to the organization before they get to go-live training. Think ahead in everything you do, but especially when it comes to how your organization will handle and adapt to new changes. How can you change your actions to get to the 3rd level of success? Don't ask the wrong questions. To get to the third stage of a digital transformation, an organization needs to be focused on the future and the big picture so it can see how new technology will fit into business processes and the culture of the organization. How will things work in our business? How will the new ERP system work with the technology we already have? How are things going to move? Where will that information live? How will we take care of the master data in the long run? These questions aren't necessarily important for putting technology in place, but they are important for getting the most out of your digital transformation for your business. Follow the factual data. The quality of your data is another piece of the puzzle that needs to be put together. Don't think about data after the fact if you want to get to the third stage of your digital transformation. Take the time to clean up your data so that the points that will be moved to your new system are correct and clean. You will also need to set up a master data management process to make sure the data doesn't get messed up. You'd be surprised at how often people don't track or maintain data the way they should, which causes your data to become corrupted. With a master data management process, data will stay clean even after the system is put in place. Once you've taken care of the data, you should also make a plan for how you'll handle data security. Cybersecurity is more important now than it has ever been because technology is always changing and getting better. How you protect and store your data will have a big impact on how well your business runs over time and how safe you are with each new development. I'm proud of the fact that I can help organizations get to the third stage of their digital transformation. It took me years of experience to get to this point. If you are in the middle of a digital transformation and want to know how to get your team to the end, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to be a casual sounding board for any of your needs when it comes to change.